Hello, everyone. Good evening. Not quite good morning yet. This is the Missing Wolves post-game live stream thing. And I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage. And today we got Austin Schindler from Valley News, 10K, 10,000 howls, 10,000 takes, just about everywhere you can find basketball on the internet. Austin's doing it. Duke, how's it going, man?
Hey, Duke is finally talking with Duke here. That's really what I've been waiting for this whole time, and glad to be on. Thanks for having me on. Been, like you said, just anything that involves basketball, sign me up.
Well, hey, we actually have basketball to talk about, and we have a competent win by a competent team, which is just good grief. I mean, what can you say? Julius puts in 31 points. He was struggling a little bit. I think Ant, with his weird kind of foot thing that's been going on for the last month or two, comes back, plays well. Nas plays well. I mean, let's start with Julius. Just what did you see from Julius tonight that seemed different? Because he's kind of been struggling the last couple weeks.
Definitely struggling, and not only struggling kind of just overall, but something I've really noticed here, Andrew, as well, is remember the times when he was shooting 50%, 40% from three to start the year? Just the other day, I saw him go down all the way down to 33%. And I'm like, you know how much you have to miss to lower it by that kind of volume? Apparently, he's been shooting 31% from three from these last 22 games. Did the math all by myself. Thank you, St. Cloud State. But just watching this guy play, and this is what we expect out of Julius when it all comes down. Every play he made, we've seen him do 1,000 times. It's just that these last few games, it just really hasn't fallen amid all the weird stuff that's been going on with the team and outside in the cities and what have you. But, man, I mean, when you have the Thunder tomorrow and you play an inferior team losing half the guys on the squad, it had me pretty scared right off the bat, and any Wolves fan out there definitely knows and had probably a little bit of that same feeling. Thankfully, they just took care of business. Like you said, Julius, 31 points. Like I mentioned, 0 of 3 from three. But could you just imagine if a couple of those went down through this losing streak that we had previous to this, adding a little more juice and whatnot? And this is exactly what we wanted out of him today, even though a 3 did not fall. But 5 rebounds, 1 turnover, thank goodness. A steal, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he was just being Big Ju.
Yeah, and it's such a difference when he's playing aggressive and like looking to get his shot off, which like I don't know. It's just weird with Ant and Julius because they've played enough games together now where you'd think they have the like chemistry of when people are gonna, like, you don't want to say like take their turns, but like when they're gonna start just going off. And Julius, it just kind of seems like some of these most recent games, he's almost like not hesitant, but like taking longer on his decisions, which causes the turnovers, causes the brick threes. And tonight he looked like he knew what he was going to do with the basketball, which I don't know if we've seen that from him for a while. Godfrey mentions when the difference in starting salaries is 100 million or more, the game should be postponed. I mean, for the Wolves' sake, honestly, it makes sense. Like if Coop was playing tonight, it's maybe a 30-point win just because Ant wants to prove a point. But let's talk about Ant too, because I felt like he was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and this is the luxury of having an Anthony Edwards on your team, just giving you the automatic, 20 points? Didn't even feel like he was really scoring that much when it all is said and done. But, I mean, it was all efficient. And then just look at the assists. 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Kind of felt like it was just in a work back type of game, just kind of trying to find a shot that he likes. Hopefully it goes down. But, hey, besides that, I'm going to go play some defense. I'm going to go grab some boards and feed my teammates. And believe he threw one of those lobs to Johan as well.
Yep, hit Johan a lob. Also, to your point, I mean, only 2 turnovers, which Ant does get turnover happy at times. 3 steals, one of which kind of when that game was looking like it was going to get a little closer, he just kind of picked it. And unfortunately, they bricked the fast break. We can talk Dante's woes if you want. But, it's nice to see Ant engaged in these type of games because I think the team has been really good at not not pointing the finger. You know what I mean? Like
Definitely.
after games where they lose in the locker room, they'll be like, yeah, we just got to get the right energy. It starts from the top down. Like we gotta focus. We got to try harder. And no one will say Ant's name, but it's pretty heavily implied that it's the 24-year-old that needs to lock in a little. I thought he locked in tonight. Like he honestly looked engaged the entire game. What'd you think?
I thought he looked very much engaged. I thought he was helping out his teammates. You saw him after the Johan block as well, where he just got right in his face and just started shoving him. That's the kind of energy we love and need from Anthony Edwards, especially when the shot really isn't completely falling. Hey, guess what? He's going to be all on every side of the court, helping out his teammates, dishing to his teammates, and grabbing boards, starting fast breaks. It felt like this team was running a little more today, even with 23 Mike Conley minutes out there. It felt like this thing was a lot more fast-paced, and the decision-making, minus the early turnovers and just giving up so many offensive boards, decision-making overall, I thought it was pretty crisp.
Yeah, and again, that's something against bad teams that this team struggles with. It's usually they start getting really turnover happy. I talked to Mike, like, I think it was a week ago now at this point, of just like, do you sense it when things are not going right against these teams? And Mike's like, well, I do, but like everyone else is like, we're up 5. This is great. And I'm sitting over there like, oh no, like what's happening? So it seemed like they were, again, like a professional win, which that's kind of how the Golden State game on Monday was too. Just professional, go in, do what you're supposed to. Ren mentions looking at the playoff standings, we're back to 6th. Might be going back down to 7 tomorrow. Oklahoma City on 24 hours rest is going to be a tough task. But
I know we're a really reactionary kind of fan base here, but something that kind of drove me nuts is when we were right next to that 2 seed, right, just a few days ago, and then dropped down to 7th, and then everyone was just talking about the 7 seed. It's like, brother, win 3 games and we're right back in 4th, 2 games out of the 2 seed. Just hold it together. And that's kind of a point I want to make too with this team. When things start falling apart, and this is maybe where a trade could help, when things start falling apart, everyone on this team falls apart. There's not one guy that just has this goldfish memory, unless it's Anthony Edwards in the 4th quarter doing his clutch time stuff. But overall, it's just like when the things are bad, like you said, Mike Conley sees it, but he's not getting the minutes anymore. And there's not really a plug and play guy that's just going to completely reverse it like some other teams do have.
Yeah, it's again, it's tough to see Mike this year because I think tonight he was fine.
It hurts. Like, I saw that 3 go down, and I almost shed a tear when that 3 went down. I was like, it hurt to watch every attempt clank in, clank out, and there was so many times. And I know he may not deserve the type of minutes he's getting even at this point, but holy cow, watching how many 3s rattled in and out during this cold streak, and he finally put one down. It almost felt like quitting a job, really. Like it goes down. You're like, oh my God.
I mean, it is like to your point, though. I mean, he is the guy that recognizes it. And I think last season, the Wolves did this a lot last season too, but like, Mike would be able to kind of wrangle him in a couple times. This year, he can't. Like, I think it's pretty clear that come playoffs, he's going to be playing like 5 or 8 minutes. He just doesn't have the legs under him anymore. But again, hits 2 threes tonight. He looked fine. Defense was fine. Like, I think if this is the version of Mike Conley, you can kind of justify it a little bit more, but also, let's talk Johan. 15 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, game high plus 11. Second game high plus 11. Ant was plus 14. Didn't necessarily shoot a ton, but like you can see the Gobert in him, right? Like I'm not crazy that you can just kind of see the signs of that.
No, it's all right there. Quick point about Mike Conley. I'm sure Finch saw that first 3 drop down. He's like, yep, we're going to keep running Mike here. Anyways, back to Johan. Yes, that's pretty much we are giving up I think John Krasinski said we were down 23-9 in rebounding after the first quarter, somewhere around that region. And then all of a sudden, Johan comes in and he grabs a couple boards. I mean, he didn't have too many on the day, really, with only, what was it? What we got? 4 rebounds, but they're all offensive.
All offensive rebounds. Just, yeah. It's funny because when he started that game, when he played in Milwaukee and then he kind of got minutes in Houston, I went back and like watched a couple Utah like games on 3x speed from like that 2013 season where Rudy started getting minutes. And it's just like if Rudy had an afro, like it's almost the same. They're both just lanky. They're both all limbs. They're like running full speed, just trying to block and grab everything. Like it's really just, it makes you wonder, like if Tim Connelly kind of was thinking that this offseason of just like, let Rudy play 2 more years here. And then we just have new Rudy.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the archetype. It kind of felt like even heading into the post-draft pressers and whatnot, it kind of felt like that was the vision they really had for Johan. He's really just the way Jalen Clark kind of injected something into this team in the first half of the season. That's pretty much what I'm seeing with Johan right now. He's got a little bit of, first of all, he looks like the cousin of Handsome Squidward. That just popped in my brain first and foremost today. Now that he's finally getting some minutes, well, it popped in my head. But when we were down that much rebounding, it just felt like on defense, the Mavs were just grabbing too much. And it felt like Rudy's just lanky body was just moving around too much and he just couldn't get his footing. Mm-hmm. Johan just like feels like a little more compact Rudy where his limbs don't fly around quite as much, but he's still got that, Bambi deer run in him at times. But it's fun to watch. I mean, the way he's able to make space and then grab those lobs, throw them down. I mean, that's just Rudy too.
Yeah, it's pack mentality says I don't think that it helps that he's around him all the time. I'll just add, like, Rudy, I think, gets a really tough rap, rightfully so in a lot of areas. He did like technically start COVID in the NBA. Like that's a tough look. He also is just kind of an odd dude. Like he's into like crystal healing and some like weird, some more like out there beliefs about like the body and things. That being said, like that dude is the most professional athlete on the team. Like he lifts every day. He works out every day. He like takes incredibly good care of his body. Super good teammate, like brings food for people. Like he's like an actually very well-liked guy in the locker room. I think pairing Johan with him, like, yes, there's probably some things that like, Rudy doesn't shoot threes. Rudy's kind of been a one-dimensional player on offense his entire career. Like Johan just doesn't have that. Like he has pretty good touch at the free throw line. As Ren said, bro's already a better free throw shooter than Rudy. Like he also, everyone on the team has mentioned that his hands are already way better than Rudy's. I mean, Ant was saying he practiced with Johan all off season, like doing lobs because Johan catches them. Mike commented that Johan's hands are much better. Joe has talked about it. Like, I think, like, if you pair him with a super professional dude at his age, that's just going to bleed into his personality. And then you just get all this other like bonus stuff where, he doesn't quite know how to speak perfect English yet. Rudy does. There's just kind of those other just intangible things. But like, kind of what do you think about, let's expand it past just Rudy, but like the veterans on this team, Mike, Rudy, and Joe. Do you think they'd have like a value to a guy like Johan?
I'd say especially for, a guy outside of the US like Johan. That's perfect for a guy like Joe. He's just going to mess around with everyone. But I feel like if he gets a guy from like France or someone from Europe, I feel like he adds a little more spice to it. Then you add Rudy with professionalism. I mean, Johan has been probably watching him since he was almost in diapers at this point. People forget that Rudy's, what is he, almost 34 now?
Yeah, he's been in the league for 14 years, I want to say. I can check while you're talking.
Yeah. And when it all comes down to it, that's just professionalism. We have a pretty solid core of professionals on this team, and good job on Tim Connolly for making that happen. Even though Mike Conley is in his twilight years, these lessons that he teaches these guys, you have to listen to them, and if they don't stick, you're not going to see any playing time. I kind of feel that with someone else that hasn't seen the floor much. I don't know how much you take in from Mike, how much you take in from these vets, but I feel like every little thing that they say from either Joe, I mean, the guy only plays a couple basketball games a year now, but he's had all those runs with Utah. He's played with Mike. He's played with Rudy. He can tell these young guys how to deal with different personalities. We just talked about how Rudy's a little bit odd. Mike, the consummate professional, you're just going to get different characters in this league, and having a guy and vets like this can really teach you. I mean, before the Wizards traded for CJ McConnell and whatnot and Chris Middleton and picked up Chris Middleton, those kids were not learning anything. They were just playing ball.
I mean, it's the Houston aspect of it, right? Like before they brought in Fred VanVleet, before they got Dylan Brooks, before they got Steven Adams, that team was just kind of a middling team. And you look at the guys that were kind of the focal point of that, other than Şengün, everyone's gone. Like Jalen Green got dealt, Tari Eason got dealt, House I think is still hanging on but not getting minutes. Like I do think it matters. The other thing I'd just add to that is, like, to your point of just like the kind of the fire and ice of it, is like, I remember Nikhil last year, I was talking to him about just like the old guys, and he's like, Mike's like the big brother that like helps you with your homework and like is there for you, and like if you have relationship questions you go to Mike. Like the big brother that like trips you in the hallway and is like bullying you, but like if you're in a fight, Joe's gonna be the one you go to. Didn't mention anything about Rudy, but like Rudy's probably the big brother that's like doing science experiments in his room. If I had to, so
the stepbrother that's doing the science experiments.
Yeah,
Rudy gives serious stepbrother energy.
He does. Yeah, it's a really interesting roster. I guess let's pivot to trades, because Johnny K puts out the Giannis kind of the sprinkle of Giannis information, which gets everything going a little bit. I'd love to talk about that. Also, Ren is asking about point guards, what we need for the offense. And he also brings up Rocco Zerkowski, who you're not the first, nor will you be the last person to bring up Rocco Zerkowski. That dude just needs to put on like 25 pounds of muscle. He's just a very
25
he
pounds
looks
of
like he's 19.
25 pounds of muscle and just run constant sprints for an entire summer.
Yeah, he's I can't remember if I've ever said it on the pod, but he was a swimmer before he started playing basketball. Like his mom and dad are like Olympic level Australian swimmers, or I think his mom's Olympic level Australian.
Got to be there then.
His dad's like German level. It's something like that. But regardless, like he kind of has that swimmer's body where it's like very lean, very like not a lot of muscle on it. Like I think
and zero fat.
A year or two from now he'll be more maybe more able is the right way to say it, to like stand up in the NBA. Because right now, if like Valanciunas got matched up against him, like Valanciunas would score 30 because that guy's just going to move them. But let's run to a couple ad reads and then we'll get back and talk trades.
Sweet.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Couple of housekeeping things as usual. Firehawk Construction does have a new phone number. I have not read on the ad yet because busy. Please forgive me, Firehawk Construction, but their new phone number is 651-315-4291. It is in the description and on our website as well. They also have a Facebook page and a website now. So if you do have ideas for a deck, remodel, bathroom, want to get the basement done, you can send those ideas over without having to call him, which for people like my wife who hate calling anyone on the phone, that's fantastic. And then they get back to you with just kind of a quote and general ideas. And Pence Homes is still gathering food donations, whether that's money, canned goods, boxed goods, to deliver to people in the Minneapolis area. I've been told that they are going to keep doing that as long as there's still kind of the craziness going on in the city and the state. If you do want to help out with that at all, you can reach out to them on any of their socials: Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. I don't think they have a TikTok, but those three, or you can email info@pencehomes.com. They need drivers. They need delivery people. If you want to help, that's a good way to help. That I guarantee all the money is going to a good place and going back to people. Duke, let's talk this here. Cole mentioned Shams named the Timberwolves first for aggressive suitors for Giannis. That was a lot of S's in that sentence. But I mean, when I'm looking at this trade, the thing that worries me the most, and I want to get your input on it, is Giannis makes $54 million this season. The Wolves do have a little bit of wiggle room, meaning, they can convert Johnny Juzang to a actual contract, and they can pay him between like $2 million and $5 million to kind of match the salary essentially of Giannis. But they got to get within about 2 to 3 million of $54 million to be able to pull that trade off, which means you're sending out Julius and Nas and Rob, or Julius, Dante, Mike and Rob, or Julius, Dante, Rob, Johan, Terrence, Bones, like the entire roster. What's kind of your thought on the financial aspect of it? Because it's going to take, if Jaden's truly is truly like untradeable, they're not going to move him under any circumstances. It goes down to now they're trading 3 of their core guys to get him in here.
I wouldn't say it's like, for me, it's really not too much about the money. It's about, what do you want to do? What is your intention if you go for Giannis? Are you going for a win now? All right, then, yeah, you kind of get rid of those Mike. In a perfect world, Dante, Mike, Terrence, Rob, get those guys off the team right now because Mike's on the way out. Rob, I think we've heard enough. Terrence, yep. You hate to see how hurt he is, but if you're not on the floor, you're on the market. For my standpoint, and I don't know where you would stand on this, but I was just thinking, like, if we're gonna pull this off, you should probably keep Rudy. But is there a world where you pair Julius and Rudy? Rudy, like we just mentioned, he's almost 34, but he's having a Defensive Player of the Year season. There's a lot of moving factors into this one that I'm really interested in seeing play out, especially if there's enough information or reporters that get out that what kind of trade offer we're getting out there. I'm sure it's going to start small, like that one with Dante, Mike, Terrence, Rob, and then it's just going to up the ante just a little bit. I don't know what it would actually take to get done. I feel like we can put together a better package than most teams. Do you really want ACL Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, who's kind of hated his life for like the last 5 years, wanting to get out so bad? Maybe that puts a spark in him, but who knows? Like, if it's a bad start in Milwaukee, we've seen him crash out before. And then draft picks, where you're sending Giannis to Golden State, it's just going to be a low draft pick. when it's all said and done. I don't know what the Knicks would be willing to give up. I mean, the Heat, they're going to pair up Hero and Ware. We can really put together a good package that I would say is near the top of what Milwaukee's going to want to be looking for. They just gave up a bunch of draft picks to Dame Lillard. They still got to pay him for the next few years. Do you really want draft picks, or are you just trying to keep this boat afloat until you get your draft picks back? That's what I'm really interested to see where Milwaukee is going to go with this. Dude, I've seen that they want draft picks, but when they're just in the late 20s, wouldn't you just want to bring back talent, get them off their contracts, and then tank?
Yeah, I guess the last couple of weeks I've been saying, like, if they go after Giannis, it's probably an off-season thing, because 2033 first round pick opens up, 2032 pick swap opens up. They can trade their 2026 pick the second they draft them. And then you essentially have three. Like, if Milwaukee's looking at Minnesota and saying, Giannis is going to be 37 or whatever at that time, Ant might leave for Miami or Atlanta. Like, let's get those picks from Minnesota. It's essentially like the Clippers picks for the Thunder, or everyone that's been clamoring for the Lakers picks. Like, that I feel like is a pretty like okay offer. I mean, then you're given 3 picks. It's still probably Randall, Dante, Rob, TJ, Jalen, and like then you're just getting Giannis back. To the, like, I looked up on the Bucks salary cap. So if you were to trade Rudy and Randall, that gets you to about 68 million. Weirdly enough, Bobby Portis and Giannis get the Bucks to 68 million. So if it's a Randall, Rudy, Rob, 19 second round picks, and then they flip Randall to a third team and they flip Rudy to a third team to get picks that way. Like, I could see that being kind of intriguing for them, at least. Like, I think, like, obviously if you can get Giannis, like, you just hit the button. Like, if you compare Ant, who is probably like the 6th best player in the league, with Giannis, who's probably the 3rd best player in the league, I mean, you're done, right? Like, it doesn't matter what else you have. If you can keep Jaden, like, that's great. If Rudy stays, that's great. If Nas stays, that's great. Like, you just do that trade. I just wonder, like, if I'm Milwaukee, unless Giannis is like slamming his fist on the table to leave, it just doesn't make sense to trade him mid-season. Like, they can get so much more from every team this offseason. All of the teams in the first apron just go down to be hard capped. Like, it just makes so much more sense. So I wonder what your thought is. Like, why would they trade him like in a week versus just waiting a season?
That's where my head was at that weird kind of Shams tweet. They're thinking about seriously considering offers at the trade deadline or the off season. I was like, well, if they haven't been listening seriously about offers prior, you're not going to put together a package in the next 2 weeks to really make it work or make everyone happy. It really feels like this is going to be one of those, let's get a bunch of offers, let's field them, and then just wait out the season. Because like you said, people are going to be offering, teams are going to be able to offer more capital, more players when it's all said and done in the offseason. And it doesn't make sense for Milwaukee to pull that trigger. But they're partially owned by Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner now, and there's just been this weird vibe. I mean, my last TV station in Wausau, Wisconsin, we were able to cover the Bucks there. And that was during the middle of the Adrian Griffin firing. And
that was weird too.
That was just a whole weirdness in itself. And then, the vibes were off there. And then they brought in Doc Rivers, and I looked at my sports director. I was like, this is going to go absolutely horribly. What in the world is happening here? And lo and behold, this is where we're at. They made a massive trade for Damian Lillard, and then they cut him.
Yeah. It's one of
2
those
seasons. Like, I don't think I've seen an NBA team really dig themselves a hole like this in my life. Besides the Wolves trading KG and no one ever working out, but
there's always a few. Like, Phoenix trading for Bradley Beal was like a what? Like,
I mean, at least
they traded for him. What's that?
at least they've been able to like rebound and put together this like cool, kind of fun team to watch that's really physical. For the Bucks, if you get rid of Giannis, what is there?
And Godfrey mentions, Giannis named the teams he wanted to go to. The Wolves weren't on there. Like, I do think
cold to cold,
Giannis is going to have a little say in it. I also, there's organizations that I feel like want to do right by their players, and there's organizations that I think are run very weirdly. And I think the Bucks are one of those ones that's run very weirdly. Like, honestly, if Charlotte calls up and was like LaMelo Ball, Bridges, 3 first-round picks, I think Giannis is going to Charlotte. And then is he just pissed there? Which that's the weird. That's like the weird side of it. A mini sports fan brings up, Randall, Nas, Dilly, TJ, Jalen, Lenny, pick the 2032 pick swap, a whole bunch of seconds, and then you'd get filler back. Like that's probably their best offer. I think, again, if I'm the Wolves, is that too much? Like, you're getting Giannis back, so it's hard to say like it's too much. And Giannis is, I think, I've been seeing some comparisons of like, well, if the Wolves go get Giannis, that's just like the Bucks getting Dame. And it's like, kind of like they're both older players, but Giannis is like a athletic freak that has kept his body in shape forever.
2-time MVP, finals champion.
Lillard's like an undersized point guard that has ankle injuries. It's just a little kind of potato. Cole also adds, you can add a third team. Minnie says third and fourth teams as well. Like that's where I think it becomes possible. Like, if there are third and fourth teams that want to get involved with this, let's say Phoenix really likes Randle, thinks that, hey, if we can get Randle in here, pair him with Booker, pair him with what we got, and then they send out some of their picks that they've reacquired through the Durant trade, reroute them to Milwaukee. You could get a team that has like some salary cap space in there as well, and then you could just essentially kind of dump Rudy at a salary destination and get some picks in there that way. Like, I don't think the picks are like the end all be all, but again, it's just so much cleaner in this offseason, which is why I'm so shocked that Shams put that out there. Because like Shams, how the NBA works is everything goes through an agent before anyone can say anything.
Did so Giannis like somebody's agent do something to Shams? Like, he seems to, I've never seen a reporter be like, I don't want to say obsessed with this scoop/story, but like, he doesn't waste any time hammering the Giannis rumors.
No. And that's the thing. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, there's been a lot of rumors, like when the Colby White rumor happened, right? And and John kind of like pushed back on it and was like, yeah, we're not hearing anything. Like, everything gets leaked for a reason. So when I'm looking at this, it's like, all right, well, Giannis probably wants to get out of there now as opposed to the summer so he can have a chance to win. And when he's listing his teams that he like wants to go to, it's the teams that might have a chance to win, right? Golden State, Miami, like him and Bam, I think would play pretty well together. It's just such a weird situation. I mean, Minnie adds the core 6 to 8 guys would be Giannis, Ant, Jaden, Devo, Rudy, Bearing J, Mike, and Joe. It would be Mike and Joe. I don't think that you'd be trusting a lot of young guys, because that would be an insane lineup, though. Like a starting 5 of Devo, Ant, Jaden, Giannis, and Rudy. That elevates the ceiling of this team immediately.
I think Giannis would bring that kind of attitude too. That's, maybe he mentioned this too while in Milwaukee. His voice may be going a little stale right now. I feel like that voice could fit pretty well in Minnesota, next to Rudy especially. If everyone's fine with Rudy, I feel like you're going to welcome in Giannis, and he's just going to be the guy that wants to win. Maybe that type of attitude can rub off on Ant. And Ant does have that attitude, but to make it for an 82-game stretch, plus playoffs, plus moving into the finals, it could be right there, but there's too many moving parts that really, for me, I can see can't see, I should say, happening for the Wolves specifically. Tim Connolly, though, of course, he's going to, like, before everyone gets too excited, Tim Connolly's going to kick the tires on it.
Yep.
It's just going to happen. It's going to happen with Kobe White. It's going to happen with Giannis. We're going to hear these rumors, but let's just expect that he's just kicking the tires. That's kind of where my head is at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Like, if it was the off season and Giannis demanded, like, if we're sitting here on September 1st and Giannis still like demands a trade, I would be trumpeting this as like a real possibility, because there's just so much opportunity to like move those picks, move young players, and get him right now. Like, I don't.
Are the vibes almost too weird here too? Like,
yeah, like I just don't think he's going to get traded. Cole adds Giannis and Rudy. Giannis and Rudy would clog the paint. They certainly would, but you'd also have 2 7-footers that love to offensive rebound. So like, I don't know. Like, I think
4 to 5 defenders in the lane. Ant's going to get the yes. So Giannis and Rudy may clog the paint, but just imagine the spacing for Ant. Come on. Like, oh my God. The guy works so hard for some of his buckets. Like, if you put Giannis on a team, you're dragging at least 3 defenders with just him.
Yeah, it's again, like, especially if they were able to pull that off and keep Devo, like Dante would just, you would not be able to cover him at the logo anymore. It would just be a Dante 3-point contest every night. Like, it would fit really well, even with the weird Rudy thing. Cole, but do y'all not remember when he tried to get Kevin Durant last season around this time and went after him again in the summertime? I'm gonna just clear the air on this. I think that was blown out of proportions a lot. Like, I think everything that I kind of heard and everything that like I picked up on being in the building, it was never like this, we're going to go all in. It was like, hey, do you want Rudy and Dante and no picks? Like, I don't even think TJ was on the table for that trade, which, like, I think it was honestly Tim just like, do you want kind of nothing for Kevin Durant? And if you do, call me back. And if not, and I think Tim does that with everyone. Like, I think Tim and Matt Lloyd are calling people constantly and just giving them terrible trade ideas. And then just, that's how they got Randle and Dante.
This is, great point. And that's probably, at the very least, this trade deadline, that's probably what he's exactly going to do with Giannis. Hey, here's Mike, Dante, Rob, and TSJ, a couple first rounders. You take it?
Which then it comes. I will say, like, it will get leaked there are going to be so many people that are mocking trades and leaking things over the next week. I would just say, like, Tim does not leak stuff. Like, there's nothing that comes out of that organization. So when you see these leaks, kind of look at them from the eye of like, who's this benefiting? Like, whose agent would be leaking this? What team would be leaking this? Because it's not going to be Tim Connolly. Like, that dude just doesn't do that. Benny pops in, says Timmy C loves to kick the tires. Yes, he loves to kick the tires. That's all he does.
Hey, you'd rather have that than not checking in on anything ever.
Well, like, Matt Lloyd has said it a couple times before. Like, he works 50 hours a week and there's not a lot to do. So like, a lot of what he's doing is just calling teams and being like, hey,
just being an asshole.
Yeah. Just honestly, like, hey, so Tyus Jones, would you take him for like Lenny? No. All right. Well, talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Duke, let me ask you though, like, what did you think is the, like, what should they target at this deadline? We'll close on this one.
God, I really don't know. Nathan went to college with that guy. Great guy. Hope you're doing well, Nathan. God, I don't know really would a ball handler really do much for this team, considering how much Ant needs the ball in his hands? Would you rather just have a shooter be that second guy, just add another Dante? Is Kobe White really the answer for this? Yeah, sure. Volume score looks good. Great hair. kind of a sieve on defense. Like that's just always going to be something that's going to struggle with the bench unit. I just don't know where you go with this team that can like really make them too much better unless you get a really high character guy. If you ask me, I'd want Drew Holiday on this team. I don't know what it would take. I mean, just adding that guy, and yes, it would just pretty much be like getting Mike back from the Jazz, but like that could just be the bridge to our next Rob, who could actually turn out, and you're getting a really good player on top of that who's hitting threes at a pretty decent rate, even for his age. And he's just playing defense out there as he always has. So if you ask me, the perfect fit would be Drew Holiday, but the age, we just wanted Mike Conley 3 years younger than when we got him. That's the same thing with Drew Holiday. Fantastic. If only he was 3 freaking years younger.
Yeah.
All-time underrated player for sure.
Yeah. Benny mentions all-time underrated great player. I mean, Dante, it's interesting because like Dante brings Drew up quite a bit. Like honestly says Drew and Mike are very similar like people. So I think that would another great guy in the locker room. Godfrey, just really quick. I also noticed D'Lo played 0 minutes tonight. And as a guy
I didn't see him on the injury report, and I was just watch the DNP.
Yeah. As a guy who didn't particularly enjoy D'Lo's last year here with Minnesota. I pay attention to that. Mini Sports Fan mentions Kobe White is the best fit. Some of the young guys plus 2 seconds is a safe deal like that.
If
I'll be honest,
send it.
For me, it's hard because, like you said, Ant's going to play in the playoffs is how I view this trade deadline is like this team needs to make a move to be a little bit better in the playoffs, right? So 42 minutes of Ant, 40 minutes of Dante, that gives you 10 minutes of guard bench play. Jalen's probably playing 32 minutes. That gives you 8 minutes of small forward guard play. Randle and Rudy both probably play like 32 to 34. So to me, it's like if Johan's good, you don't need that big because Nas is able to play all of those minutes. Johan can come in case there's something crazy that happens. So you just need a bench guy that can play point guard, off guard, and some small forward just to be able to get minutes. Kobe White, like I think can do that. Quentin Grimes is a guy I've been bringing up a lot. Like I think he fits really well. He's kind of middling in Philadelphia right now. The other guy is Keon Ellis from the Kings. Like part of that is Keon Ellis always plays good against the Wolves. So maybe I'm just biased because admittedly I'm not grinding a lot of Kings tape nowadays.
Next.
As Cole brings up Keon Ellis at the exact same time. Yes. Jordan Clarkson. Like, I think that would work too. Comfortable with Rudy, like knows how to play with them.
True.
Those would be kind of the targets I'm looking for of like, what can you bring in that can play multiple positions, is fine on defense, and then can just give you a little bit of juice, which Cole mentions Conley's minutes. That you're exactly right. Like that's what you're trying to replace. Like Bones probably isn't getting a ton of minutes in the playoffs. I don't think Clark is getting a ton of minutes. So right now it's your 6 guys. And then you have Mike Conley as probably the 7th in order of like trust. And Mike just, he's not at that point anymore. Like I do not want him traded, want him on this team, but he just can't give you 18 minutes in a playoff series right now.
No.
Benny mentions Keon Ellis. Fascinating. Seems like an awesome fit anywhere. Could potentially have him as cheap. Trading with the Kings usually works out for the other team. Yes, certainly does always. See Chicago, see Indiana, see San Antonio. We need more bench.
All the above, dude. Oh my God. No, yeah, I do I'm a big Keon Ellis guy too. And that's where a lot of these like trade prospects for us just don't really tickle me too much. It's like just all offense. And it's like, we do need bench scoring, but the bench can also be a super sieve on defense too. it really needs to have a little bit of both here. And you just don't find that many players in the league anymore. You're usually a specialist on defense with maybe a corner three. Otherwise, you're just a flamethrower on offense coming off the bench. There's a reason why you're coming off the bench when it's all said and done. So it's hard to find a player that plays both those sides. If they do, they're probably just average when it all comes down to it. Otherwise, they'd be starting. It's really hard to find a guy like that. And for what the Wolves need, it's just hard to find a specific player to match that bill. I don't know if that's just me.
No, you're spot on. Like, they need someone that can handle the ball. Honestly, what they need is TJ Shannon to just be good, which unfortunately between the foot injuries, between the struggles, not really having much of a left hand, having film on tape, like it does suck when you go from being a surprise role player to you're on a team scouting report now and bench players know how to handle you.
Yeah.
If TJ was just like good, I think it solves most of the problems that they have. Same with Rob. Like if Rob was just good, it's really unfortunate. They kind of whiffed on both of them, it would appear. I mean, they're both young. They can have a chance. TJ, I think if TJ isn't on this team next season, you're going to hear from him wherever he goes. Let's do, I got one more question that I've been kind of waiting on here that I believe it was Cole or Ren brought up. Cole brought it up. I'll just pose it to you. Do you really see the Wolves winning a championship with Julius or even Rudy?
No. Yeah, short answer, no. But
yeah,
I gotta concede, like I haven't been the biggest Julius guy his pretty much entire career, especially after the whole Los Angeles stint. He's exceeded my expectations since arriving, but he gives me a little bit of Kirk Cousins vibes in a way as a player per se, not really the person. He just seems like the coolest, chillest dude alive.
Yeah, nice guy.
As a player, he's just going to get you those stats. He's going to do exciting things. And then it gets the playoffs. It gets to those really nitty gritty. You need to find something. And sometimes it feels like he gets a little too frustrated or maybe even in his head a little bit. That really drags down the play. And on Rudy's side, that one's interesting because I could potentially see it. But then once you picture him kind of raising the Larry OB, it's like, I don't know if that we can do that, but I mean, I don't know who else would be a better fit than Rudy for this specific team and its specific needs. You take Rudy off this team right now, I don't even want to picture it. It makes me choke on my words. So you take him off the team right now, it's brutal. Same with Julius in a way, but I feel like it's easier to replace a Julius in a high volume scorer. Maybe can't replace the playmaking ability, but just short answer, no, but there's ways it could happen.
Yeah, I agree with your short answer and your long answer. Short answer is no. Like Oklahoma City is on paper significantly better than this team. If Tatum comes back for the playoffs, I think Boston on paper is significantly better than this team. Honestly, like I think the Wolves have a shot against the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Nuggets. Like I wouldn't say it's just, it's over if they're playing them. But like right now, if they go into the playoffs as the 6th seed, they're playing the Nuggets in the first round. Then they get to go and play the Spurs, and then they get to go and play the Thunder. And like, can you beat all three of them when your second best guy is Rudy or Randle on any given night? Like, it's no. The answer is no. Now, what they've done is put themselves in position to where if something happens, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton gets hit in the championship last year. Does that help Oklahoma City win it a little easier? If Shea goes down with an ankle injury in the first round, now all of a sudden Oklahoma City isn't there. You're right now, you're playing the odds of like, we have a good enough team to put, like, we're going to be at the final table in the World Series of poker, right? We're not going to have a ton of chips, but we're going to be there. Like, few things break right, we're there. Now, my kind of take on it is I think this offseason they're going to do something. Like, just the way the salaries are lined up, the way the picks open up, the way the young players haven't panned out, they're going to do something. I don't know what level it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a Giannis level. I don't know if it'll be like, let's get Bam in here, try and trade for Booker. Like, but they're going to do something. The money just is lined up in a certain way where it's like, oh, this all makes sense that this is the offseason. They kind of, they broke up the assets for Cat. Now they're going to combine a bunch of assets to get somebody better than Cat back, which that's kind of the hope that you got to have. Because if not, this team's just going to keep giving themselves a chance. And maybe, you get something that breaks right and you can win a ring. But I mean, Toronto eventually had to trade for Kawhi. That's kind of how these one-off teams get in there. Just to catch up on chat real quick. Godfrey said no. Teresa had a bunch of crying emojis. So I'm sorry, Teresa. Phil, Johan needs to play more. Yes, agreed. And Nat, there's so many questions surrounding the Wolves, and it's scary because there are so many things that the Wolves need to address. Yes, that is the summary of the Minnesota Timberwolves in this season. There's a lot of questions. They got to address a lot of things, and
what do you even address first on top of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this offseason will be the offseason things get clear, though, because my gut feeling is they're going to go full Harden mode, and they're just going to say, Ant, you are the heliocentric center of an offense. Here is a crap ton of shooting and defense around you. Go have fun.
Yep.
Don't know what that'll look like, but could be fun.
Could be. And if you bring now back to that one, the question, winning a championship with Julius or Rudy. Well, if you trade for Giannis and Rudy's on that team, then yes, I could see that.
Yes.
But and watching this team, the biggest problem is like effort. That's never really a problem in the playoffs unless they're down 3-0 in the series. They can beat anyone at any time. Can they do it for a full 7-game series? We're going to have to wait and see kind of again. Am I pretty confident they'll make it back to the Western Conference Finals? Yeah. I mean,
I'm kind of there with you. I don't know if they can win 4 straight playoff series, especially with the path they're setting themselves up for. Like, this is the reason you try and be the 2 seed, so you can at least play like the Clippers or something. But I agree. Like, I think they'll win a playoff round or 2 and be right back in the Western Conference Finals again this year, which is wild.
Now, this is some serious looking ahead in the future. But man, I thought about this a couple times. We were talking about how bad the Clippers and how worried people were that Oklahoma City was going to get the Clippers pick and it could have been a number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the way Kawhi is playing, my favorite player, by the way. Could you imagine them just making the play-in, being the 8th seed, and at least taking the Thunder to 7, just out of spite? You know how happy the league would be? You know how happy every fan, maybe in America, would be besides Oklahoma? That thought has crossed my mind a couple times, and I'm just like, wow. Oh,
I always root for chaos. So like, I'm right there with you. Like, let's have Memphis make it after they trade Ja. I think that would be fun. And then the Clippers make it would be the other one where it's just like, all right, we have hope. Oklahoma City isn't getting the first overall pick. Duke, I do want to give you space here as we close, though. Anything you want to plug? Where can people find you? Anything you're working on that you're kind of proud of and want to promote? Floor is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Andrew. Yeah, I'm a anchor reporter for Valley News Live, do a little bit of sports. What I mostly do really at Valley News Live is I do digital anchoring, which is basically every time something happens or there's breaking news or we kind of have just a segment to do, I'll hop on a live stream on our Facebook page, Valley News Live. YouTube, it'll always be live when I'm popping on. Really cool. Breaking news happens and it's 1 p.m. Well, there's not a show for another 3 hours. We send a reporter out right away. I hop on the desk, smash that live button, and then we're just talking right away. So always tune in and see kind of what we're doing on the desk, but something in a passion project I've been working on. We're in Fargo right now, the Fargo-Moorhead area. I'm looking around for the best high school players in the area right now with a shoot around series type of thing. You can find that on Valley News Live on their Facebook, or you can follow me, Duke Schindler VNL, on Facebook. I do have that video posted. Talked to Carter Evanson for my first official pilot episode, and he's a UND commit here, Fighting Hawks, or UND fans. I'll let you call yourselves what you want to call yourselves, but he's been awesome. It was a great time. I love shooting around, and even though I never played varsity once, JV B teamer for life, even as a junior, I still can get some buckets, or at least shoot around in a nice game of horse. So that's kind of what I'm up to right now, just trying to find the best basketball players in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Just have a little chat, shoot some buckets, and hang out.
Hey, I love it. I feel your pain. I hit 5'7" in 7th grade, never grew another inch. So my hoop dreams died really early when I was just like, why is everyone else getting taller? Duke, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. Anytime.
Absolutely. We'll be back tomorrow. Yep, it's not quite midnight yet. We'll be back tomorrow after the Thunder game. Phil Mackey from Score North is joining me to break down the Thunder and probably have some reckless speculation. I don't think we're going to do a pie chart or anything like that. I secretly die inside a little bit when pie charts are brought up. But Duke, again, I appreciate you. Everyone go follow him on the socials. Check out Valley News Live, and we will catch you tomorrow.